This is Cammie Gellner, and this is part 2 of Your Best Year Ever. I hope you guys had a good week really thinking about what you want to make happen in your life and why you really want that. Last week we really explored having what a great year looks like for you and the eight key areas of your life: health, career, money, family, friends, romance, home, fun, personal growth, spiritual. You all got to choose what you would like to have happen in your life, and you got to make a decision around that. And we also explored the pain and pleasure questions, and hopefully most of you lived in the pleasure questions much more this week than you did in the pain questions. And the other piece is I'm really hoping that there was some action that got taken this week. So we'd love to hear from any of you on any action that you took this week based off of last week's session. So the lines are open on most of you, and the ones that are not are ones we're getting a lot of feedback on, or you're muted on your end. So we'd love to hear. I think, Laurel, I just unmuted you and got a lot of feedback, so I'm going to mute you back down.
Okay.
So we'd love to hear from some of you what actions you took.
I'll talk. This is Riley.
Hi.
Hi. Last week I talked about I wanted to play more to my strengths in my career and do more focus of being, I currently work in a corporate office, and I would like to get back out into the stores somewhat. And so I approached my boss and the vice president of stores both and put out there that I would like to be considered and know what I need to do to become a district manager so that I can be out in the stores more. So I went to them, and so next week I'm going to travel one of the district managers and just make sure it's something I really want to do. And get back to them, and then we currently don't have any positions open, but I wanted to start getting myself in a position where I could. So
that is awesome. And that was a big step to go out, talk to your boss about that, right? I mean, just to go out and...
It was.
Yeah, but congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, good work. Who else took some action this week? Tony, I know you did. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, well, my action was to formulate my decision. And so I spent a little time last night and this morning in that space. And the focus, as we talked about, is professional career. And I've made a decision to spend every day in that space of possibility. And as an action point, I've begun to look for that transition job, because the job I have now is all-consuming, and it drains my energy, it drains my time, it drains my creativity. And so I'm going to be looking for that transition job.
Nice.
And staying in that space of possibility on a daily basis.
Good. And yesterday when Tony and I spoke, we talked a little bit about how you really make that a powerful decision and really put yourself into that place of living into what you want to make happen in your life. And hers is around that career space and really breathing life into what it's going to feel like when she's doing the work that she loves, that she knows she's meant to do. So that was a little bit what we spoke about. Thank you for sharing that. And that's exciting to start thinking about what that transition leg might look like, what can help you get there.
Yes.
Okay. Who else? How about one more?
Hey, Cammie, this is Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
I want to say that's really exciting I forgot who the first gal was that spoke about talking to her district manager or becoming a district manager and traveling. That was awesome. So that kind of gave me a big oomph as far as like, hey, you could go and do that. And then I love Space of Possibilities from Tony, so I wrote that down. There weren't a whole lot of like action for me in my past week, but when we got off of the webinar last week, within an hour, it just hit me that because we were talking about I mentioned how I said kids and childhood and fitness and putting those two things together. And within an hour after the webinar, I thought to myself, I should have a cool kids adventure camp, and maybe not even like children's adventure camp, but even like for grown-ups as well. And all these ideas just kind of flooded in, and I shared that with my husband, and he's like, yeah, that would be really awesome. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, here's my big, huge dream goal at the end, but what are the baby steps of how to get there? So that was huge. So.
And you know what I love about that, Debbie, is the fact that the moment we start asking the questions and start thinking about this from a different perspective, new ideas come, new people walk into your life, just the awareness that comes along with asking the questions that you guys started with last week starts things in motion. So that's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so let's dig in today. Last week we talked a little bit about, the how, or this week we're going to talk about the how. Last week we talked about the what and the why, and this week we're going to really dig into the how of how you guys are going to move forward, how you create the momentum, how do you move past any disbeliefs that you might have. The how is what you do, it's what you say and what you think. Isn't it true that what you do, what you say, and what you think determines the results you get in your life? In today's class, we're focusing on how to take positive actions, what you do, how to develop supportive thoughts, what you believe, and that's a big one, guys, and how to set effective goals and what you say, so what words you're putting out there. So to start with, the first step that we're going to dig through is digging into your beliefs. And when we look at beliefs, if you can conceive something in your mind and believe it to be true, then you can achieve it. So this is what we're going to really focus on. And I like to tell a story about Walt Disney. And the story behind Walt Disney was he was on his deathbed, and he was sitting with a friend. A friend was sitting with him, and he had been visualizing the Epcot Center for many years, and his friend said to him, I'm really sorry that you're not going to get to see the Epcot Center come to life. And Walt Disney looked at his friend and he said, I know, I've been visualizing exactly what the Epcot Center looks like for 15 years. I know exactly what it's going to look like. I don't feel like I'm going to miss it. So the point of the story is really that the more you can visualize what it looks like when you're doing what you want to, no matter how far out that is. You know, he was thinking about that for 15 years. I want you to be thinking about, you know, what is it that you're wanting to create and visualize it. Put visualizations to it. It's really, really powerful. And I want you to focus on it every day. We have 60,000 thoughts on an average day. I mean, that's a tremendous number. And the scary thing about those 60,000 thoughts is that 95% of them are the same ones that you had yesterday. I want you to shake it up. I want you to think. I want you to start bringing positive thoughts to the table, to the way your mindset is even thinking about what you're creating, what the change you want to create in your life. So start shifting those. When you start catching yourself in the negative thoughts, shift those into positive thoughts, and make those 60,000 thoughts that your mind puts focus and energy into every day very positive ones. The next thing is tell someone about it. When you're thinking about your dreams, tell them what's making your heart sing, what's making you excited. And so just take this opportunity to tell people on a very, very regular basis. So I want you to reconnect to the beliefs that you made last week, to the decision that you made last week. And I want you to think about, when you think about the decision you made and that life area that you were exploring, I want you to think about what beliefs do you have around that decision. Do you believe you will fully live into your decision? Do you think about your beliefs? Your beliefs determine the life you have. If you don't like the results in your life, take a look at changing the beliefs that are producing those results and see your world through a different lens. So I want you to think about the area that you focus on, the decision you made to create your best year ever. And I want you to take a moment and write down all the beliefs that you have that support you in this area. So, for example, I believe in the work that I'm doing and that I'm supposed to be doing in this world. That is a belief. That's a belief that's empowering me. It is lifting me up. I absolutely know this is the work I'm supposed to be doing. Another belief is that my body feels awesome when I go to a yoga class. So things like that. Sit down, write down some beliefs that you have that are empowering. I'm going to give you about a minute to do that. After you've written down some of your beliefs, I want you to circle the one or two most empowering beliefs that you wrote in. Consider how these beliefs empower you. How do they strengthen your life? Who would like to share one of your empowering beliefs? Laurel, I've been able to unmute you now, so it's gotten quieter there, and I'll try Malavika as well. So everybody should be unmuted on. Whoops. I can't unmute you, Malavika, but everybody else is unmuted on my end. You might be muted on your end, but I would love to hear an empowering belief from someone.
Hi, Cammie. It's Marion.
Hi, Marion.
Can you hear me? Hi.
I can.
So my empowering belief is that I feel happiest when I am in balance.
Nice. Nice. And what was your decision area?
A couple things around opening my heart and relationships, and then growth in my spirituality. And I sort of segued into the environment that I am creating as well, like my home environment and my work environment.
Okay, so that's a lot to focus on.
I know.
And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull it into the relationship side of things for a moment, and just ask if an empowering belief around a relationship might be that you're an awesome, great life partner.
I like it.
Do you see how that is kind of even taking it a little bit more deeply, specifically to one of those items?
Yeah.
Versus just being in balance?
I'm writing it down.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Who else would like to share one? Laura, we haven't heard from you, and since I've just been able to unmute you, would you like to share? How about Michelle? You're unmuted.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh, great. Okay. I am really convicted about my vision that God has given me to work with animals.
Okay.
And that empowers me, and that keeps me focused.
Okay.
My decision is to expand our education seminars within our farm, whether that includes horses, chickens, gardening. I'm having, the difficulty I have is getting it done because I have so many thoughts and ideas.
Okay. Okay. So, and we're going to talk a little bit about disempowering beliefs here in a moment. So when you're thinking about this expanding the programs that you have, and when you think about that vision, what I invite you to do is really breathe life into. I'm living in this on this farm, and we are creating all kinds of opportunities to make a difference with multiple types of programs that are, so you're kind of painting that picture. Do you see where I'm taking that?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I like your empowering belief that you've got to accept. I think that's an awesome empowering belief. So breathe life into that sort of a thing, and do it frequently and often. So thank you for sharing. Okay, so for all of you, really think about how you can breathe life into your empowering beliefs. And now I want you to go back and, again, think about your key area of life and the decision that you made. But this time, I want you to write down any beliefs that you have that do not empower you or limit you, that stop you, that kind of restricts the movement that you're making in this area. So take a moment and write down any disempowering beliefs that you might have about where you're headed. We'll give you a minute to do that. And I want you to circle the 1 to 2 most limiting beliefs that you wrote down. I want you to think about the consequences these beliefs are having in your life. I want you to feel the pain, how they keep you from having the life you really love and achieving what you want to in this world. What will it ultimately cost you if you don't change this belief? And this is the question I love. How is this belief ridiculous? Is there a person you learn this belief from? Is the person you learn this belief from worth modeling in this area of your life? Do they have the kind of life they want? Something to ponder. So who would like to share, well, first of all, just how do limiting beliefs feel?
This is Royally, and I would say for me, it makes me feel bad or that I'm incapable of doing it.
Right.
It makes me sad.
Yeah. So there's sadness. It doesn't feel good. Anyone else?
Cammie, this is Debbie.
Uh-huh.
I wrote down one simple, very structured, like focused, limiting belief, and it makes me feel incapable. There was another word, but it left.
But it isn't, it's like it won't happen.
Yes, and it's holding me back from a lot of things.
Yeah. So here's the fun part. I don't want you guys to spend a lot of effort on these limiting beliefs. I want you to recognize when you get them. And what then I want you to do is what I want you to do right now is I want you to take the 1 to 2 that you circled on your list, and I want you to write a replacement belief for the 2 limiting beliefs that you circled. So really just rewrite that into a positive frame. What would you have to believe in order to succeed and achieve your goals? So who was able to really kind of flip that around into a nice, empowering belief versus a limiting belief? Oops, we got some radio going on. Let's see. I'm going to pick someone. Tony, how about you?
One of the limiting beliefs I wrote down was I don't have the skills to do what I want to do.
Okay. And so how did you change that around?
And I changed it around that I do have all the skills I need to get started.
Yeah. There you go. And it gets started, right? And it doesn't mean that we quit bringing things into our lives. But you're moving in the right, and you've got a lot of great gifts for the work that you want to do that no one else has.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So your beliefs have the potential to create or destroy. They can tremendously empower you or severely limit you. The good news is you get to choose your beliefs. You can change the beliefs you currently have that don't support you. So when you start catching yourself in these limiting beliefs, stop yourself, rewrite them. Sit down and write them out into an empowering belief. So continue on. And we're going to start talking about step 2 here is really about setting effective goals. And this is about what you say. I believe that a person cannot reach his or her full potential without setting and working towards goals. Notice, I'm not saying that they have to achieve their goals. It's just we have to have goals that we're out there and we're moving toward. Brian Tracy says that we are never truly happy unless we're moving towards something that is important to us. Some of the greatest thinkers and achievers in history, such as Emerson, Thoreau, Da Vinci, Napoleon Hill, and Dale Carnegie, all stress the importance of goal setting in order to live a happy, productive life and achieve one's dream. And there's actually some great research around, there's great research around how written goals are much more effective. This is a Harvard Business School study that I really like to share. There was a graduating class of Harvard Business School, and at graduation, 84% of them had no goals. 3% of them had written goals, and 13% had goals but were not written. Of the 13% who had goals, this group right here, 10 years later, they were earning on average twice as much as those without goals, so twice as much as those 84% out here. The 3% that had clearly written goals were earning 10 times as much as the other 97%. Now, not to say that the financial realm is the only measuring metric that we would want to consider in this, but it's pretty apparent that it makes a difference to write down your goals. So we're going to move into doing some of that. And before we do that, I guess before we even move into why to setting some goals, I'm going to talk a little bit about why don't people set goals. Sometimes people don't want to take the action. Sometimes they don't realize the importance of this. They don't know what they want. They're stuck on the hows, needing to figure out exactly how they achieve it. This is one that I see very often, and it's so often. I want people to put the hows aside for a time period so that they can get into really defining what they want to have. There's fear of criticism and rejection, fear of failure. While all of the reasons we discussed play a role, the number one reason why people do not set goals is fear. Fear of failure or not attaining the goal. If you also have this fear, I challenge you to set goals and change your response if you do not achieve them. It's okay if you don't achieve your goals. A lot of very happy and successful people haven't achieved their goals. In fact, they've probably missed many of their goals, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a bit. So put fear of failure aside. Set goals that inspire and motivate you, and start moving your life in the direction you want to. It's not often by failing to achieve certain goals that we are able to achieve others. So don't only measure success by the end result, but measure the progress that you're making during the journey. This is a journey for all of you. So let's talk about what highly effective goals look like. And I like to call them powerful goals. First of all, powerful goals are bold and far-reaching. Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you're going to land amongst the stars. This is what we're just talking about. You know, start putting things out there, and your path is never going to be a straight line to get there, but you start moving in that direction, and you'll make the right thing that's supposed to happen for you happen. Also, success isn't about spontaneous combustion. You must set yourself on fire. So you've got to have heartfelt goals. You've got to really want the things that you've got to have the desire there. What does your heart really want you to move into? So this is something as you're writing goals. I'm going to send you a sheet this afternoon that has these points down for you. But when you look at the goals that you write, really think about, is this heartfelt? Does this set me on fire? And one thing I'm reading a book right now. It's called Playing Big by Tara Moore. And I am actually recommending that to all of my clients as a very important book to incorporate into the work that they're doing, and I would recommend it for all of you as well. One of the things that Tara talks about is powerful goals are a gift to you. They're not a should. So, for example, you might say, as opposed to writing the goal that says, get my finances in order this year, if you think about that, that's a should, right? It's rooted in a sense of shame. It's rooted in self-criticism. And so if you're hearing self-criticism in your goals, I want you to stop, and I want you to really think about how you can shift the way you write that. And instead, move it from a should, that I should be doing something, to a gift. How am I gifting this goal to myself? So, for example, on this, I want to get my finances in order type of goal, you could shift that to say, I want to give myself financial security so I can have peace of mind for myself. So you're coming into it from a different perspective. You're gifting it to yourself. Another example would be when I went to yoga yesterday. I left yoga, or as I was driving to yoga, I said, this is a gift to myself. I am going to take care of my body, to nurture my body, to treat my body like the goddess that it is. So think about it from that perspective versus, oh, God, I got to go to another yoga class. So write your goals in a gift kind of way, and write them in a very positive way. Also, powerful goals are aligned to your strengths. Know who you are. know what your gifts are. Know what your strengths are. So when you guys were just talking about, I know what my gifts are with the animal world, with the world of animals. Know your gifts and live into those gifts. And powerful goals are written as if they're happening today. It's, write that I am doing this work that I love. I am feeling awesome and amazing because I'm fit and healthy and I'm nourishing my body in the right sort of way. Write your goals in that sort of a way. And put some deadlines to it. If we don't put deadlines to it, things aren't going to shift for us. We've got to have some urgency behind it. So I want you to set a single effective goal right now, a single powerful goal. I want you to think about the area that you're focused in on and really just write down a goal that's going to help support you in that area. And give yourself a minute to do that. Okay, I'd like to hear from some of you on a goal that you wrote.
This is Laurel.
Hi, Laurel.
My goal is to retire at the end of 2015, buy an RV.
I like that.
Buy an RV and travel with my husband, and then start traveling internationally as well.
Okay, so what I love about it is you're describing what you're going to be doing. You're putting some, you're painting that picture around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Awesome. Who else? Mynell, I haven't heard from you on any of today, so let's hear from you.
Yeah, because I finally realized how to use the unmute button.
Oh, good.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I wanted to answer one before, and I couldn't unmute myself.
Oh, well, tell us what you were going to say.
Well, my goal is, my whole thing is about career and making that leap to figure out what I want to do closer to home. So the goal I wrote down is educate myself on options available and the best match to me, i.e. skills, wants, etc. Is that too long?
No, it's fine. I mean, the goals you can put plenty of thought around it, because that actually makes it more. If you put some more words around like that, you're describing it a little bit more. And I like the fact that it start with education, right?
Yeah.
That is a great gift. It is a great gift of being able to step back and say, what is out there? Let's go explore it. Let's see what's here. What calls to me? And that might be something that you weave into that, Mynell, is educate myself and explore what possibilities and opportunities are out there, so that it's kind of opening up the realm of finding something that sets you on fire.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh. How about Deb F? Are you there? I do see I see a question panel. Let me check on, see if it might be, oh, here's Deb. She wrote it out. You can share mine since I'm in open space and would like to not have heard by my coworkers. I'll give myself the gift of moving my glorious body at least 5 days a week. Decision was around health, well-being, and being light on my feet. So awesome, awesome, awesome. I like that. And I like your decision around being light on your feet, lift and light on your feet. I feel that. It's you know, your body feels differently when you're light. So thank you for doing that. Okay, so what we're going to start to move into here is start to taking action. And really would like to hear what has worked for you for staying in action. What have been some things that have been really powerful that have impacted the way you've stayed in action? Tell me a little bit about that. From any one of you.
This is really, when I came to the corporate offices, I had originally been in the stores, and I thought I wanted to be in the corporate offices. So we as a team in this area had gotten together to do a floor set once a month. And so every corporate person that was there I talked to and told them I was interested in coming into the corporate offices. And I even asked one of them to mentor me. And in our particular office, they hadn't brought anybody in from the field for almost 10 years. They'd all come from other places. And in 6 months, I'd worked myself into the corporate office.
So
but if I had...
Yeah, go ahead.
But if I hadn't, because I've had other people like, well, how'd you get in? And I'm like, well, you have to put yourself out there, you know. And I knew I may not have all the skills to get into that position, but I at least, if I put, they wouldn't know I was interested unless I kept saying to them, and the more people I told, the more people who knew.
I love that. I totally love that. That is about being bold and brave and stepping out and putting it out into the world that you'd like to make that happen.
Yeah.
And then the other piece I heard in there was that you got a mentor, right?
Yep, I did.
Yeah, and I think, oh, awesome, awesome. So anytime you have a mentor, you have somebody that you can lean into, that's a great way to help keep you into action, because at the end of the day, there's accountability, there's helping you grow and push a little bit further. Who else has had some great things that's helped you stay in action? Thank you so much, Riley. Who else? Let's hear from you. There's all sorts of things you can do from create written plans. You can keep top of mind. There's all kinds of the great Franklin Covey material about the 3 rocks, and keep in line all the time the things that are most important to you. Keep them very present and in line of sight. Setting up regular routines when you sit down to plan. Identifying your goals for each week. What are the big things that you really need to make happen? You can do it on a Sunday night, on a Monday morning, whatever works in your schedule. Schedule time for key items. I put workouts on my calendar. I put writing time on my calendar. So know that you can put things that are most important to you on your calendar and block that time off so that you're actually making yourself do that. Or giving yourself space, not making yourself, giving yourself space to do that. And think about what do you need rid of to make more. Sometimes you've got to take stuff out of your life that is really not serving you. So think about it from that perspective. And what choices do you need to make around making that space? I'm also big on accountability partners. I've had an accountability partner for many years, and it certainly keeps me on track. And I have champions. I have people who are cheering me on. So have a champion that knows your goal and is always there kind of supporting you. Work with a buddy, a coach, a mentor, a family member. And the last piece that I really want to talk about is compassionately investigating what is going on when we get stuck, because we all get stuck at some point. And I want you to be gentle and compassionate with yourself when you're not moving, when you feel a little bit sticky in what you're wanting to make happen towards your goal. And just be kind to yourself and explore what is it that's keeping me stuck and how do I need to move forward to move through that. So I want you to take a moment and I want you to write down what planning strategy are you going to use to support you in achieving your goals. So just take a moment to write that down. And the last piece I want to leave you with on this part here is really don't give up. Edison failed more than 1,000 times before he invented the light bulb. Michael Jordan didn't make the cut on his high school basketball team. Einstein flunked math and was earning a living as a postal worker when he published his theory of relativity. I want you to spend time reconnecting to your why. Redo the pain-pleasure exercise if it helps. Connect to your compelling reasons if you get sticky. Fake it till you make it. I don't know how many of you have watched the Amy Cuddy TED Talk. It's one of my favorite TED Talks out there. But she talks a lot about putting yourself out there and faking it until you make it. Focus on manageable baby steps. You don't need to go from here to 9,000 miles an hour. You're doing step by step by step. And when things get a little bit sticky, take a break for a week and then go back to it. Start back into the decision. You've got all these tools now that you can always tune back into. We're getting to the end of our time today. And before we do a concluding exercise and complete the class, I'd like to share a little bit about some opportunities that can help you stay on track. So one of the things that we are doing, and for those of you who are clients, you're already participating in this. For those of you who are not Syzygy clients, you have an opportunity to join in our monthly microburst of rocking inspiration, time-tested principles, and life-changing tools. And these are our Syzygy Jam sessions. These are a monthly webinar series that we run. And we do 6 monthly 45-minute Power Booster webinar sessions. And so we talk about how do you really get clear about your life purpose. We talk much more in depth about time and the yeses and nos and scheduling a life that's really yours. We go through tools and rules and time tracking rules and really keeping track of your life, so ways that you can really implement better tools in your life to keep a hold of your time. Make time your own. We talk about relationships matter and the art of listening and the sustainability of you, and that's really about taking care of you. And how do you do that? So this is an opportunity for anyone who is not an existing client to join in and continue this work that we've started here to help you stay on track. That's another way that you can help yourself stay on track. Bonuses that you'll get as part of this series is you will receive a daily Pony Pondering Daily Inspiration. And I think I have shared Pony Pondering Inspirations with you and the communications that have gone out to you this past week. So these are just a great way to kind of tune in each morning and say, you know, what do I need to know today? And then we also do wisdom teleseminars throughout the year that are on topics that range and you know, that you can attend as well. The investment for this program is $658. That's the full price investment. But for the first 5 that wants to sign up by Friday, tomorrow, with a payment of full, we're going to offer a special price of $379. And you can basically click through, and I'll send this in an email to you afterwards, that has where you can sign up. There's also a payment option available on that page. So for the first 5 people who are interested in that to grab it, it is there, and would love to have you join us. And for those of you interested in exploring my coaching programs, I would also love to do apply for one of my SDU strategy sessions. Just drop me an email, and we'll get that scheduled. And this is a 45-minute conversation where we get to tune into really what you want to create this year. And, you know, we can take this work even further, more deep for you in a 45-minute one-on-one conversation. So I'm happy to offer that to anyone who is on. So just send me an email and share with me your life today and what you'd like to change, your decisions, your goals, and your current role, and we'll get that scheduled for you. And then if you're interested in seeing some of my customer success stories, this is the link that is on my website that you can go to. It is available right off the top of my homepage under Customer Success Stories. And that always tells it best for me. I mean, my clients are awesome and amazing, and they're doing great things in the world. So if you want to see some of the things that are happening with my clients, feel free to jump out there. Okay, so before we do this closing exercise, let's talk about the homework. So just like last week, I'm going to be sending you a notes worksheet. So read through it and write out the answers to your questions based on what we've covered in today's class. And then get and stay in action around the goal you set and make a positive change in the first key area of your life you choose to focus on. Once you make significant progress in that area, choose a second. Remember, choose a second area that you want to really tune into. So, with that, I want you to just, I've actually got a candle that's lit here. And I want you to put your feet down on the floor. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Think about the area of life you are focusing on. Connect with the decision you made and feel your commitment. Think about the beliefs you currently have or want to develop that will support you in achieving what you want in this area. Think about the goal you set in this area. See and feel yourself achieving this goal. Identify one concrete action you are going to take after this class to keep the momentum going and continue moving forward to achieve the vision you have for yourself. It's going to be your best year ever. And I want you to take a moment, and I want you to write this down. What do you see? What's the action? What is the action? That's what I want you to write down. Write down the action you're going to take. So I would like to hear from you. What's from a few of you to hear what your concrete action is that you're going to take. What about you, Michelle?
Oh, I am going to have a unpleasant conversation with my partner, and I'm going to do it by the end of the week.
Okay.
And move forward after that.
Awesome. Awesome. Who else? How about Debbie?
Tammy, this is Debbie.
Oh, good.
Hey. Perfect. So I finally have my vision board that I am actually going to go and create in my head, and I'm really excited about this whole outdoor kids camp. I'm like all these words and things keep like flooding out, and I'm writing so much stuff throughout today's webinar. And I'm really excited because for the last several years I've been going and saying, okay, I think I'm going to do this. No, I think I'm going to learn about this. And I've changed my mind and said crazy different things for the last several years, which has made my now husband very nervous because he thinks that I'm unstable. And I think with this whole concept that everything that I said, like cooking and baking and music and sea turtles and outdoors and skiing and rafting and the trees and nature and everything that I thought about all fits in for this concept. So I'm going to create my vision board.
That's good. Whose phone is that?
Not my phone.
Okay, so
thank you, Tammy.
and what I like about that is you're starting because you've been doing a lot of work, Debbie. So you're starting to see ways that things can integrate together, and that's what happens when you start doing the work that you've been doing. You start to see how these pieces start to fit together, and it takes work to get there.
It
So
takes work and it takes a lot of time, and I feel like I've been trying to figure this out for a very long time, and I keep thinking, I can't make up my mind. This is never going to work. I can't stay focused. But I think it's starting to finally come together.
Yeah, and when you get those doubting moments, take those beliefs and turn them into something positive, empowering belief, right?
Yes, and can I share what my limiting belief was and what I switched it around to, because I think it would be really helpful for maybe everyone. My limiting belief was I struggle with my confidence, meaning emotionally, physically, and professionally, and I switched that around to where I radiate confidence emotionally, physically, and professionally.
That is perfect.
2008
perfect.
To be relevant.
Yeah, I really appreciate. I think that was a really great one. So good job on that.
Okay. So how does the retina diagnosis? Will Dr. Robinson do that?
I just muted somebody. Okay. So let's see. Is there another person who wants to share an action you're going to take? The other thing is share what you're taking away from these two-part sessions. How about that? Let's hear from that. Roy Lee, I don't know why I've got you muted down. I'll unmute you. I can't unmute you for some reason. So what are you all taking away? What have you learned these last 2 weeks? What do you know now that you didn't know before, or what aha moments might you have had? How about you, Marion?
I think for me, I learned that even though my goal is hard to set exact steps and deadlines to, because it is around a romantic relationship, that I'm at least in the space of taking action by just having these conversations and writing about it and thinking about it, and so I think it's a process.
Yeah, it puts life into it, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah, and it opens the door the moment you start writing these things down, stopping and taking time and putting focused intent, focused thought around it. Certainly opens the door to new possibilities, and then specifically when you put some action behind it. So good job.
Thank you.
I see. So I have a couple questions from, I think this is from Deb. The author of the book that I mentioned was Playing Big. Her name is Tara Moore, M-O-A-R. Highly, highly recommend the book. And the pain, and you also asked, would I repeat the pain-pleasure exercise? Basically, think about what it feels like if you don't achieve your goal, your decision that you've made, and what are you going to feel like? That's the pain side of it. The pleasure side of it is what will it feel like when you do achieve it, and put a lot of life into that, what it's going to feel like when you are living that space. And the TED Talk that I mentioned was Amy Cuddy, C-U-D-D-Y. I don't remember the title of it, but if you Google TED Talk and Amy Cuddy, you will find that. So it's all really good stuff. I guess those questions were from Michelle. And then Debbie, that was the TED question. Okay. I want to finish up today by thanking you and acknowledging you. I want to thank you for participating in this webinar. It's a big part of my passion, and a purpose as a coach is working with people to create and live their best lives, to help them really step into things that their heart is calling for, that helps them discover who you are and what is meaningful, passionate for yourself. I also want to acknowledge you for investing the time in this workshop and the energy to participate and do the work. It really just demonstrates that you're the type of person who's committed to your own growth, your own development, and your own success. So it's been a pleasure leading this webinar and an honor to connect with you, and I'd be honored to connect with any of you on a one-on-one consultation if you're interested. And thank you, and I look forward to staying in touch and being of service to you. Here's to you and your best year ever. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kimmy.
Thank you.